Hello, 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 Knits for Sanity here, and welcome to my Whip and Chap. Whip and Chat. Whip and Chap, oh boy. WIP stands for Work in Progress, and that just simply means whatever project it is that you are currently working on, go ahead and pull that out and sit down and start working on that. Or alternatively, maybe you have a chore that you need to get done, or you're taking a walk. Whatever it is that you're doing, please continue doing that while you listen to me chat. First, I should note that once again, I am recording during daylight hours. The reason why is because I'm not sure I'll be able to record later tonight. And I already had to miss my Sunday Whip and Chat, which I'll get to in a minute. And I really did not want to risk having to miss both in the same week. So it is daylight hours. My oldest children are expected to be home from school very soon. I did leave a note on the door asking them to please be quiet when they enter the house, but I make no guarantees. So there could be a ruckus happening in about 20 minutes. As for why I did not record over the weekend, I had a headache that was persistent and pervasive Friday through Sunday. Even into Monday a little bit. It was awful. And that meant that recording Sunday night was just not an option. So I am very sorry. I was disappointed too, but that's why it was all more important to me to be able to get this Whip and Chat in now. And I'm never opposed to diamond painting in the middle of the day. If I have the opportunity, I'm going to take it. So what am I currently working on? This is, if you watched the unboxing video, which is available, it is from Crystal Canvas Art Designs, and this is just a cute little gnome with pumpkins design. It is my very first all crystal canvas, and I am loving it. It is so fun. It's a little bit more finicky. I feel like working with the crystal drills, at least I am unable to multi-place with them because the drills are a little bit larger and they sit, I feel like, a little bit differently on the canvas than what normal round drills do. So I have been single placing everything, which is fine, especially because this is not a particularly large canvas. My larger crystal canvas might be a little more frustrating, except that had so much confetti in it anyway that I don't know how much multi-placing would have been available. I am using a few different products here that I will note. My tray today and my cover minder are both from Bella Art, and I gotta tell you, I'm loving these trays. This is the small tray, which has been perfect for the number of crystals that I usually end up needing in a square. Fantastic trays. They are everything I had hoped for. Awesome. My pen was a quick find off from Amazon. I was in desperate need of another drill pen, and while I do have one ordered from O'Brien's, that's going to be several weeks before I see it. And Amazon, if you need something like this immediately, Amazon is your best option. This pen is not half bad though, and I'm trying a new, I don't know if these are called like ergonomic tips, but I've been trying this out with this painting, and thus far I am liking it. It's still just a single placer, but you don't need to tilt your hand quite as far. So that's been kind of nice. I have found that for me, at least, the crystals seem to work best with putty. And so I am using pumpkin ginger streusel putty from Crafts with Crashly. And guys, I wish you could smell this. Oh, it smells so yummy. And I don't normally like the pumpkin scents. I'm more the apples, but this is amazing. I don't know about everyone else. Perhaps wax or other wax alternatives work just fine for you with the crystals, but for me, putty really does seem to be the better option, and so that is what I've been using and I filled my drill pen with. Oh, the other thing that I've done is for this particular kit, I have used an alternative kitting up method. I had originally started working just out of the little plastic bags because I needed more options for kitting up. And so I ordered just these little bitty ones, which you've probably seen these, but they look like those medicine organizers. That's really kind of what these are. But this has been great for this kit because these are just little bitty, this one's empty. So they're just little itty bitty holders. You can't get a ton of drills in there, but this is a smaller canvas, and especially being round drills and crystal drills that are larger, this little storage has been fantastic. Most of my colors still fit just in one of the little cups here. You know, like this one, this is 4 different colors in here. So this has actually been working out really nice, but it is definitely different for me. And of course, I will link to all of these products in my notes, so you can go ahead and look for that. All right, so what has been going on lately, huh? Well, because of my headache, we did not get to go to the varsity football game Friday night, which was a bummer, and it was kind of a special night because it was the 60-year anniversary / alumni night, which meant that there were a bunch of fun activities that the kids could have done before the game. So I was disappointed that we were not able to go. At the same time, in a way, it was kind of nice. Just this whole area is, it's a small rural community. And so you do have a lot of people who have been born and raised here for generations. And being that it was alumni night and like all of the alumni were encouraged to go down onto the football field and like form a tunnel for the players to run through at the start of the game. And there were a lot of pictures of alumni happening. I was okay in some ways with not being there just because we're not from here. I don't have a history with this place. And I'd feel a little weird, like at what kind of essentially became like a reunion of sorts. But regardless, the game was fantastic. We did still listen on the radio. The guys did great. They came in with another win, which puts the team at 4-0 right now. I think I gotta check where everyone else is in the conference. But I think that right now we might possibly be the only school in the conference sitting at 4-0 right now, which is really cool for our guys. But yeah, so the weekend was pretty much shot. I hate that. I hate not being able to do stuff. I hate it with a passion. Admittedly, a lot of what I do ends up me having to sit around quite a bit yet. So it's not like I'm doing a lot of like super active activities, but I prefer to try and always be doing something, to always be working on something. And that was done in very limited capacity this past weekend. Oh, well, it does happen. So, in big, exciting news, I owe all of you an enormous thank you. I have now hit 100 subscribers. Woohoo! And if you are not aware, the reason why that was such a huge deal for me is because until you have 100 subscribers on YouTube, you can't change your YouTube URL to match your channel name. So currently, my URL is a bunch of random letters and numbers. And my OCD just can't handle that. It just drives me nuts. I don't like how it looks. You can't memorize it. I'm very bothered by it. I like things to make sense and be organized. And so, yes. So 100 subscribers is a really big deal to me. And if you have subscribed, thank you so very much. If you have not subscribed, please consider subscribing. It is really, really helpful to these little itty bitty channels like mine to have the subscribers. And I can assure you that any small channel that you subscribe to, it will be appreciated probably like tenfold. So subscribe if you haven't. Like my videos. I mean, if you like my videos, that is also very, very helpful and very appreciated. Now, here's the irony. So I hit 100 subscribers. Woohoo! I can change my URL. Except I can't. This is my luck. 95% of the time, this is the way our family rolls. I finally hit the milestone, only to learn from YouTube that while they're currently undergoing like system updates, you are unable to change or alter your URL/direct link to your channel. And check back in a few weeks. Oh, you've got to be kidding me, YouTube. Oh, I have been looking forward to this day for weeks and weeks, and I am here, and I'm excited, and I'm happy about it, and I can't wait to finally have a YouTube channel that has my name in the address, only to learn that I'm just going to have to wait longer, and there's not even a definitive date for when I may finally be able to change my URL. So, eventually, I will be able to. But I still would not be able to do that if it had not been without the help of all of you. So, thank you very, very much. I am considering doing a giveaway for reaching 100 subscribers. I am trying to figure out how to best do this. Keep in mind, it would be a very small giveaway. I am thinking probably like a $10 gift card to Amazon, something that I could easily send to anybody anywhere through email. And of course, this is using, my own money, my own expenses. This is truly just a thank you from me to you. When I figure out if and how to do that, I will post a separate video about how you can enter into that giveaway. So, I'll keep you posted on that. But regardless, thank you so much. You are definitely hugely appreciated by me. So what else has been going on around here? Well, we can do a quick update about all the kiddos. So kiddo number 1 has kind of been a little bit in the spotlight around here as of late. She just seems to be having an awesome year at school. And I am so happy for her. I am so tickled, and I'm so proud of her. She seems to be really thoroughly loving her high school class. She starts out every morning taking Spanish at the high school, and then she walks to the middle school. The two are obviously right next door to each other. It's not, it's on the same campus. And so she seems to be rocking that out. Her grades so far are phenomenal. But in addition to that, Friday night, she was the one of us who still had plans and activities to go to. She was invited to a birthday party for a girl that she's been friends with on and off since the 2nd grade. But what's just so awesome about it is this kid she's been through the ringer at times, and making good friendships, finding other kids who share similar interests with her has always been an enormous struggle. And so Friday night, to have my husband report back to me that when he dropped her off at this birthday party, and to see the other kids from the party welcome Sylvia with excitement, I cannot tell you how amazing that makes me feel as a parent, and how wonderful that is for her. I am just so happy and so Very, very proud of her. Other things that I'm really proud of with her. So I mentioned that she has done some new card designs and stuff. Well, as of today, all of those new products have come in. And she is very, very excited to share those products with everybody. She is not necessarily excited about being featured on my channel, but she is excited to share what she's created. So very, very soon we will do a video together and she will show off her newest creations to all of you. Again, just to give you fair warning, she is hoping to sell these. So please be kind. But I'm really, really excited for her, and her talent just continues to get better and better. She's a really neat, gifted kid. So be on the lookout for that video. Let's see, child number 2. Well, child number 2, as you know, last week she had kind of a rough week. And it didn't really get better, you know, with mom getting such a bad headache and not being able to go to the football game. She had friends there she was hoping to meet up with. And of course, she always wants to see her favorite athlete. And so we couldn't do that. She did still send him a text message after the game and everything, you know, just a, hey, good job. I did listen on the radio. This week has been better for her, and there are some things that I am just so stinking proud of her for having done. So I've mentioned before a few different times, this child loves wrestling. I mean, adores wrestling. Her passion for this sport is unbelievable, given that this is a 12-year-old girl who can't wrestle to save her life. She does not have that brain-body connection, and she never will. I've talked about all of that. But she really, truly loves this sport. And she's about to begin, or really kind of is, in her 3rd year of serving as a junior coach / manager of the high school wrestling team. Well, this past week, she has done a couple of very responsible managery things. There was one wrestler who had inquired about how he could get access to video from his wrestling bouts at the district and regional events. And Veda said, well, you know, I don't know how exactly, but she emailed the coach. She let the coach know, hey, so-and-so needs access to these videos. You know, will you either tell me how to do it or will you do it? He responded and said, I'll take care of it. She responded again with a thank you. I'm hoping she does think to follow up again with him. He is a fantastic man, a wonderful coach, and I am forever indebted to him for how nice he's been to my daughter. But he is not exactly known for being the most organized, thought out, planning type person. He's definitely the kind of person where, I'll get those videos and then never think of it again. So I did mention to her that she might want to consider doing an additional follow-up email, but that's up to her. And on top of that, last spring, she wrote a proposal to her sports boosters requesting an iPad and like a special holder case thing that has handles on it, and then a stand for the iPad for filming at wrestling tournaments. And her proposal was both really cute, but also very well done. I got these little gold pieces stuck on here. no, not gold, silver. I can't keep my colors right. It was very well done. She started off by listing the items that she wants for the team with links to where these could all be purchased online. And I did help her with that part. So I did help her with that, getting the links in there. But then she wrote up all of the current problems that she is experiencing with their current video setup. And it was things like really bad battery life, low quality video. I don't remember what all. And the way that she wrote it sometimes was really very, very funny. Like I remember one thing that she had mentioned, and she ended it with something like, so annoying. But anyway, so she first stated a list of problems, and then she wrote a list of reasons why this new iPad setup would be better and would solve all of these problems stated. And she sent that email off to the sports boosters. They responded and let her know that they appreciated her proposal. They voted on it. And yes, they are going to buy the team this iPad setup. In addition, they said that her proposal made them realize that perhaps other teams would benefit from this purchase. And so they were going to look into buying more teams this iPad setup. And I don't know for sure what came of that. But anyway, now here we are. And that was last spring. And they did say, we aren't going to do anything about it anymore this year, but we will at the beginning of next school year. So here we are next school year. And, Veda hasn't heard anything. And so she's wondering. And so she wrote the boosters back and just said, hey, I just want to make sure that this is still happening. And they wrote her and they said, yep, and it's already been done. The head of the athletic department has received everything. Hopefully pretty soon the coach will have it. And, again, thank you so much. And she responded again with a thank you. And I appreciate knowing that we're on the same page. So I'm just so proud of her. I mean, that's some pretty like real manager stuff she's doing, right? And then in addition to that, yesterday was really, really good news with it. And today was some not so great news with it. But, if you recall, my kids are all getting home here. Hold on just a second. I'm going to put you on pause. I'm back. It might be a little bit noisy now that more people are home. It's just going to get more and more chaotic from here on out, which is also why I tend to prefer doing all of my videoing in the middle of the night. So what was I talking about? Oh, I was talking about child number 2 and her recent responsibility. And then how yesterday and today, we saw 2 sides of the same issue. So if you have been tuning in for a while, you may recall a whip and chat from probably about a month ago where it was storming, and in it I revealed that daughter number 2 is absolutely petrified of storms. Well, yesterday and today, first thing this morning, we've had storms on and off. And yesterday was a very hard day for the dog. Very hard day for the dog, but for Veda as well. And she had actually emailed the school psychologist and said, hey, I want you to know that I am really, really afraid of storms. I am not doing well. I am very scared. And I don't think I will be able to walk to the bus if it is storming outside. Which, for her to self-advocate to that level is huge. And fortunately, when the school psychologist wrote her back, she mentioned that, she said, I'm really proud of you for self-advocating like this. And then she suggested, what if I meet you after class and I walk with you to the bus? And my daughter agreed with that plan. And that is what happened, even though it was not actually storming at the end of the school day. The psychologist did walk with her from her last class to the bus. And that was very helpful for Veda. But then today, which there's a few different factors here, but this morning we had a very quick storm shoot through. And immediately after this storm, my daughter had gym. And today in gym, they all, I guess, went out to the track. Well, because the storm had just gone through, my daughter was petrified and overwhelmed. It was humid out. There were lots of puddles. Not knowing, is another storm going to suddenly show up? And when she gets overwhelmed like that, she goes nonverbal. She cannot speak. The words are not there. It's like that connection just totally shuts down. And another possible factor here is the school psychologist, who is female, was not there today. Instead, it was a man who is in charge of, he oversees all the kids with 504 plans, which is what Veda has. And so she may have been less comfortable with trying to contact him. It could have just also been that she didn't know ahead of time that they would be going outside for gym. And so she didn't know that it would be an issue. But once she's in the heat of that moment, she gets so worked up that she cannot communicate verbally anymore. And so she selected the poorest option available to her, which was to flee. And she went and she hid out in the locker room for the rest of the class period, which is not okay, because someone needs to know where she is at all times. This is not the first time either that she has done this for gym class. So I got an email about it, and I wrote everyone back involved and everything. And then I spoke with her just now after getting home from school. And I just said to her, as well as everyone else involved, we are really trying to work on finding alternative communication methods when speaking is not an option. And I got a couple of different ideas floating around, but I also kind of want to leave it in the hands of the people who work at the school and deal with children every day, to see if maybe they come up with something too. And I encouraged my daughter to see if she could think of something that would work for her. So yesterday we had phenomenal self-advocating, which she does very well in written form. She can write about what is troubling her quite well, but she can't always speak about it. And I am the exact same way. And as a kid, I would have behaved exactly the way she did. I would have hidden. I was known for writing a lot of notes to people to communicate what I was thinking and feeling. And people didn't always, I think, understand or appreciate why it was that I was writing as opposed to talking to them. Not understanding that it's because I couldn't talk with them. So that's, another challenge that we're going to work through, and she'll figure something out. I just think it's very, very, very important to recognize that communication comes in many different forms, and that often society as a whole tends to forget that. And if someone's not talking, then they figure everything is fine, or you get irritated because you can tell something is not fine, but this person isn't saying anything, forgetting that sometimes speaking isn't actually that easy to do. So I think that covers child number 2. Well, there is one more thing. Relates back to wrestling. Oh, surprise, surprise. Last year for her birthday, I got for her, it was tickets for her and then a friend of mine and her 2 boys who are on the high school wrestling team, as well as their cousin, who is my daughter's, one of her favorite people. Her favorite athlete is what I call him in the football stuff. That's their cousin. I got all of us tickets to go see University of Michigan home wrestling tournament. But due to a number of different things, in the end, we were not able to go. And my daughter, I had debated not even telling her that I had done this as a birthday gift for her when I learned that it was just not going to happen. But I thought, no, she's turning 12. I'll tell her about it and I'll give her a couple of different options. Well, she came up with an option that I hadn't even considered, which was, Mom, couldn't we stream it and still watch it together? And I paused and I looked at her and I'm like, yes, I bet we can. I had not even considered that. Kind of shows my age there a little bit where, streaming, what? So I said, I'll look into that. For us to be able to stream something, probably not going to happen. But my friend, much, much higher chances of being able to stream. And she said, oh yeah, I'm sure we can. So she looked into it and we were able to make that happen. My daughter just said, I'd rather spend the time with all the same people and watch the event that way than any of the other options that I had listed. So I thought that was great. And so that is what we did. We did have some streaming difficulties in the beginning. So we did miss the first 2 bouts, which is really kind of hard when there's only 8 bouts per tournament. No, 10 bouts per tournament at the college level. So she only got to watch 8 out of the 10, but still it was really fun and it was neat. However, the catch to this the catch was she made me promise that we would go to a U of M event this year then. And yesterday, University of Michigan released their wrestling schedule for this current season, the 22-23 year. And so I did text my friend again and I said, hey, are you open to going with your boys to a wrestling tournament this year? It's hard though, because you're trying to deal with 3 teenage boys' schedules, 2 mom schedules, plus my daughter's own schedule. And all of these kids are on the wrestling team for our school. My daughter obviously does not wrestle, but she needs to be at all of the events and everything. So trying to coordinate all these schedules is really hard. And then I was really hoping that their first home event would be before November 15th. Even if it were just the Open, which is always the first weekend in November, even if it were just the Open that we went to, I was hoping it would be before the middle of November. The reason is because November 15th is the start of rifle season for deer hunting here. And that is a really, really big deal around here. And definitely one of those boys will be out hunting that weekend. So, unfortunately, the very first tournament of the season isn't until November 20, which is the first weekend of rifle season. Arguably, it's the best time to try and head out. So I'm kind of bummed about that, because then the next ones available aren't until we are in the heat of our own wrestling season. But I'm hopeful that we'll be able to figure something out, because she really, really wants to do this. And I really want to be able to take her. If anyone happens to have any ins with U of M wrestling that would let these kids maybe talk with some of the athletes or anything, you know, if you could let me know, that would be amazing. But yeah, so that's daughter number 2. Daughter number 3. Well, daughter number 3 is very much daughter number 3. Yesterday, husband and I discovered that she has not been taking her medication. And I'd kind of been wondering about it based on her behavior at home. But between starting middle school and figuring, well, her medication's really worn off by the time she's home anyway. And she said that she's been taking it. You know, I just assumed that she was and everything was okay. But yesterday we learned that she hasn't been. But here's the thing about that. Over the summer, we were forced to transition her from a dissolvable tablet to an actual pill that she'd now have to swallow whole. And she has the worst time swallowing pills. It is a small form of torture for her. It is very difficult. And I know this. It's always been a struggle for her. And of course, this was not our choice to transition her to a different medication. This was not her pediatrician's choice to transition her to a different medication. This was the health insurance company's decision, which, don't even get me started on how much I hate health insurance and the fact that it really never ever takes into account what is actually in best interest of a patient, but only what is in best interest for their financial needs. So now my daughter can't take the dissolvable tablet anymore, which that was already kind of a challenge to get her to take. But at least that was one that she was able to take without huge unnecessary stress. So I do understand why she was not taking it and why she was saying she was. I mean, it does not excuse it. So I sent a message to all of her teachers saying, hey, we just found out about this. This means that she has definitely been underperforming, not just academically, but even socially, because she can't stay as focused. She has severe to moderate to severe ADHD. And that's what this medication is for. And like, she never uses medicine on the weekends or anything like that. But I did let her teachers know about the situation, and we talked to her yesterday. And it's one of those where I'm struggling as a parent. She's struggling as an ADHD kid because she wants to be medicated, because she does like that she's better able to focus and she can get stuff done and she can pay attention and she can follow along with conversations much better when she's medicated. And she knows all of this and she wants to perform well. And again, not just academically, but also behaviorally, and being able to better build relationships because she can follow along with the conversation and remember what people are talking about. But then you compound that with the fact that she has to use a medication that is so difficult for her to physically be able to take. And it's very frustrating for me. And I'm angry, so now this corporation, this health insurance company, is who dictates what my daughter can and cannot do. And not only are they affecting her medically, but now they have impeded on her academic success, on her ability to make and form and establish relationships with other people, because they refuse to pay for the medication that works for my kid. Anyway, I'm done with that topic because I could go on for a very long time and I don't want to do that. So, in other news, she has been big into doing Zoom calls with her friends, which is really very cool. And it's just so different. You know, that was not an option for me as a kid. And, you know, what did we do back in the day if we really wanted to actually talk with a friend? Because, of course, you don't have time at school to socialize. And I think that's something that quite often parents and educators and adults in general tend to forget or not really realize is there's no time to socialize at school. You get 20 minutes for lunch, and then you're in class where you are working and occupied the whole time. And if you try and socialize, you know, you get in trouble for that. So what did we have to do? If we wanted to socialize, you had to talk on the phone. And our parents would get all upset with us because we'd be on the phone for 90 minutes. Well, again, it's because how else are you supposed to connect with your friends? Well, today, this day and age, you know, these kids can set up 30-minute Zoom calls with each other. And daughter number 3 is my most social kid. And she has a great group of friends. And I think it's kind of cool that this generation has a new way to be able to connect with each other that doesn't involve tying up the family phone line for hours on end. And in fact, you know, along that line, my husband and I, we've never ever had like a landline or anything at home. So, I mean, it's a concept that's totally foreign to my kids. The idea of, you know, talking on the phone. They've never done that. My son is my son. He has been so happy since returning to school. He loves being with other kids his own age. I think he loves seeing other little boys. He loves his teacher this year. He was so excited when last week she came to his football game. He is overjoyed to be back in dance. And the other day when I was bringing him to dance class, I asked him, I said, hey, you know, what do the girls think in your class of having a boy there? Because he's the only boy in both of his dance classes. He was the only boy last year as well. So I said, yeah, you know, what do the girls think of you being there? And he says right away, oh, they love it. And I'm like, oh, they do? Well, how do you know that they love it? And then he kind of pauses and he says, well, they don't seem to mind it. So his confidence is not lacking. You know, we had to just immediately assume, oh, well, they love having me there because why wouldn't they love having me in their class? To then actually having to like stop and think it over and realize, well, perhaps they don't necessarily love it, but they don't seem to mind it. So he's doing well. His life is, I think, pretty good right now. Today, the car got some repairs, and several $100s later, that's done. So, you know, we're left with like $100 to live on for the next week. Oh, joy. I just love that. But at least we did technically have the money. The repairs are done. The car is now safer. So I'm trying to think of the positives. This week has been kind of a big week for me, and it's left me feeling rather discombobulated. Just different appointments that I have had, and just different things. I mean, anything that is out of the norm, and especially anything that's out of the norm, any kind of appointment or meeting, anything that takes me outside of the home can be very anxiety inducing for me. Like it's just a lot for me to try and like figure out how I'm going to put that within my day, within my week. And I've had a lot of that kind of stuff this week, which is hard. Friday, I am actually going to be teaching again. And I'm really worked up about it. And it's like the best possible situation for me to step back into substitute teaching again after having had to quit that job late winter due to just a complete and total autistic burnout. And the reason why I say that is because it's only a half day. I'm only going in for the second half of the day, so I don't even need to show up until 10:30. And it's homecoming, so I think it's minimal time that I'll actually be in the classroom. I think I should actually ask somebody about that before Friday. That might be helpful for me to know ahead of time. Actually, that would be helpful for me to know ahead of time. So I'll find out. But it's probably minimal time in the classroom, and then I assume an assembly, which I don't mind the assemblies. They're usually quite a bit of fun, and my involvement with them is minimal because I'm just there really as like crowd control, to deal with kids who may have emotional needs, that kind of thing. So my responsibility with assemblies is pretty low key, and they are quite often fun. So it really is like the perfect way to try and step back into teaching. But I'm still nervous about it. I'm still a little bit worked up over it. Just because that's how I am. And I mean, it's not the kids. The kids don't bother me at all. I love the kids. It's just like everything else. It's hard to explain. But that's supposed to happen Friday, so we'll see. What else has been going on? So kind of a funny little story here. My husband has been on a lifelong quest to find the perfect planner. And every few years, he has convinced himself that he has found it. This is it. This is the perfect planner. But of course, it never actually is. And it's not because there's something wrong with the planner. And it's not even a lack of acknowledging that a planner is obviously not going to, just fix all of your scheduling problems or task issues. It's really the fact that my husband just desperately wants to think that getting the perfect planner will magically somehow not make him have ADHD anymore. And that's just not how it's going to work. That's just not how this happens. To his credit, he does a really remarkable job at having found organizational methods that work for him, that have allowed him to be very good at his job. And I'm really proud of him for that. I know that it is a struggle, but he has found ways to make it work. Now, has he had some goof ups? Absolutely. Looks like I have a few more 5s in here than just a few. I wasn't going to pour any out because I only saw 1 5, but I got a couple. Anyway, yes, I mean, he has had some mess ups, but we all do, you know? So I'm just proud of him. But anyway, he's currently on a quest to find a new perfect planner. He thinks he found one. It's called the Anti-Planner. I've looked into it. It is really cool. Honestly, it would be fantastic for pretty much everyone in our household because it is phenomenally created for anyone with executive dysfunction, which quite literally applies to every single person in this household. But it's also really pricey. It's like $52, which I just really struggle to wrap my head around that kind of an expense. Obviously, we're not getting it now because we just paid off all those car repairs. Actually, it was not several car repairs. It was just like one big car repair. But it does look really cool. But here's the thing. Even if we get that, for me, it still isn't going to have everything I need because I have discovered what works for me as a planner. And yesterday, actually, when I was filling out my planner with some new things, I realized, oh, I need to order a new one. Well, what works for me is the daily things are very, very bad. I need to see the whole month. And so I need a large calendar that opens up, lays flat. I can see the whole month. Every day of the month has like a 3x3 box on it. And I can write in everything for that day. That way I can see that day within the week, within the month. Like I can visualize everything better. That's what I need. So yesterday when I realized, hey, I need a new planner, I hop on Amazon. 5 minutes later, I find the perfect planner. And it's a 3-year planner for $17. So I found my perfect planner and it took me 5 minutes and $17. My husband, however, is still looking, thinks he found one that might work and is $52. Yeah, well. All right, let's see. I finished 5. Are there any 6s? I don't see 6. I do have a few 7s though. So let's pour that out. Trying to think if there's really anything else going on worth sharing right now. I got the dog behind me. Elfie is keeping me company. So if you hear grunting, it's just my dog. Daughter number 2 says he has grumpy grunts because he gets really, really angry. Like when he has to get off from the couch or anything and he grumbles and he sounds like an old man. He sounds like an old man pretty much all the time. Did I pour number 7 in here? Yes, I did. Okay. Actually, probably along that note, I should probably just wrap this up. So I think that's probably enough for today. Again, thank you so much for joining me. Please consider liking my videos and subscribing to my channel. I would really appreciate it. And that will wrap up this week's Whip and Chat. And hopefully I will see you again real soon. Be kind, take care, and I'll see you later.